Hey guys, welcome to Flat Top King. Hey, we just made beef stroganoff all on the griddle. To be honest with you, I was skeptical at first, but now that we've made it and I've tasted it, it came out absolutely fantastic. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Alrighty, to get started, let's look at the list of ingredients we have. We have some fantastic followers that have gave us a shout out on the Griddle group and said, hey, we've made beef stroganoff on the griddle. Would love to see your take. So here's my take. Looked over a couple recipes, kind of made my own. We've made this several times in the past in the Navy. Definitely not a griddle recipe. One of those recipes that I immediately thought to myself, griddle is not the way I'd go. But since they did it and they said that it came out fantastic, there's no reason for me to argue with them. Let's see if we can create it. So, some things to note about stroganoff. It's a sauce. Typically, we don't do sauces on the griddle. And you need a tender steak. I don't care what choice or cut you use. That's up to you and your price point and how you want to go about this. We're using filet scraps, which are the tail pieces, the end pieces, and all the stuff that we do when we do a filet tenderloin. I like to keep the filet scraps. We'll do fajita meat out of it. We'll do carne asada. A lot of things we do with it. So we've got that to go with. We have some onion, salt and pepper, and butter. Found this bone broth. It looked like it had a fantastic consistency. The color looked pretty good. Seemed like it might have been a better option than buying the beef stock. I'm not a fan of the stocks out there in the supermarket. I just feel like they're a majority of the time colored water. Just not adds a lot of flavor. Hopefully this is not one of those. More traditional mushrooms, but I found this pack as well. It just had some mushrooms in there that I enjoy. Your egg noodles, some flour, some parsley, Dijon mustard, sour cream, some garlic, Worcestershire sauce, and a little cream if we need it. The whole idea is basically going to sear the steak, the mushrooms, the onions, create a sauce. The noodles will be going inside on the stove. Toss it all together, add some sour cream, some butter, and have a fantastic recipe. That is the goal. Let's get started. First things first, just need to look at what kind of beef I'm working with. I don't even know what I froze. I don't know if it needs to be more trimmed. I don't know if it's in big chunks. So we might have to break it down some. So I'm just going to take a quick gander. Ribeye is very popular. See, that's probably part of the chain. I'll break that down. Sirloin can be used. Flank steak probably can be used. But I just thought this scrap, this is exactly why we do this. Just the pieces that just don't make a fillet, right? There's no reason to throw this away. And it was too good a piece of meat to use for burger. So
didn't we also use fillet scraps when we made those garlic butter steak bites, or no?
That was a tail. I think that was one piece that we cut into 3 steaks. This is actually the trimmings that wouldn't have equaled anything, but very close. So this piece I'm going to keep whole the same way with the garlic bites, ironically, because you can get a better sear on a bigger piece of meat than you can a smaller piece of meat. I don't mind to cut it later. Being as small as this is, I'm going to cut it. The whole idea of the game is to create a fantastic dish. So whatever I need to do that, that's what we're going to do. Keep that one whole as well. We'll keep that one whole. We'll keep that whole, since that's already cut up, and we'll keep that whole. And we'll trim that one. So this is the idea. Since this was already smaller, we can keep that to the side. Since these pieces are whole, we're going to season these, sear these accordingly, and then we'll come back and cut these because I think we can get a fantastic sear on them. Have a little shake that. Kind of season liberally, coating all sides. Set this to the side so we can start prepping our vegetables. These mushrooms are about the same size that I want to go with because they will wilt down. So I'm just going to keep those whole. I'm just checking the container, make sure there's not a lot of dirt in there. With these mushrooms, we're going to wipe them off with a wet paper towel. Then we're just going to quarter these to keep them a lot of bulk to them. Alrighty, we have our Traeger getting up pretty high in heat. Probably pushing about 550. We're going to be able to sear these steaks off. See that crust we're working with? That's what you're looking for. The little ones are not going to have enough time to be able to sear on both sides, so I'm going to take those off because I don't want these overcooked. All that residual beef fat, the seasonings and everything, we're going to keep right there. Mushrooms and onions, I want the mushrooms and onions separated. I really want the mushrooms to get a good char. So what I'm actually going to do first is add the mushrooms first, because the onions are going to release a lot of moisture and I don't want them to get soggy. Start the onions over here on the cooler side. We'll shake that on the vegetables as well. See the color we're getting on the mushrooms? That's what we're working for right there. That side of the mushroom, that side of the mushroom. Got some color on the onions. We're gonna add that raw garlic just right on top so it can start warming up. Cut this into bite-sized pieces. Grains running that way, so we'll just cut it right in the middle. That way, same thing. Two tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna actually turn this side of the griddle off, okay? Now we're teaching zone cooking. I want this temperature to really drop because I need a place to get the stuff off the heat. If it continues to go this high, you're gonna lose the ability to reduce the sauce naturally, okay? So we got it on low and low.
And off.
Yeah. Get that butterworks in there. About a tablespoon and a half of flour. Let this work in there. Woo! Squirter. Add about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, a few tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Now let me show you how this is going to go. I don't want you to add this stock directly to the skillet without controlling it, okay? So let's build a dam first. My griddle runs that way. Working a little bit at a time, like scrambled eggs. See how we're barely reducing? There's a difference between reducing and thickening. Thickening is obviously with the flour. So if you combine the reducing with the flour, then your measurements and stuff is going to be off. That's why I turned this out of the griddle off. Because if I wanted to reduce, I would move it over. See the difference? I'm wanting the thickening power to happen right now, which is why my griddle is off. Let the flour do its thing. It's plenty hot. If it cools down on you, take a good portion of it, move it over, move it back. Okay? Now you see what we're working with. See that sauce consistency we're talking about? That's what I want, because you want this to be able to coat the noodles. I've been boiling the noodles off camera. Listen, it's just water and salt. Just boil the noodles. I did not cook the noodles all the way through. These are al dente. Just a touch of liquid to keep it moist. Roughly a quarter cup, roughly. Okay, just let that sit right there. Remember, this is how the griddle's off. About a third cup of sour cream right at the end. It's beefy, it's garlicky. You put a little bit more black pepper in there. A touch more salt. Work that sour cream in there. You want to adjust your taste and have everything ready before you put that sour cream in there. Just like that. Now you see how we're holding on to the noodles? Look at that. See that? Add that steak and all those juices in there as well. That medium rare steak. Just for color, a little flat leaf parsley. Take that, nice little sprinkle on top. And there you go, that is my version of beef stroganoff. Now, as you guys know how YouTube goes, my wife needs to create a thumbnail, so she's gonna be working on that. What I'm gonna try to do is time it, because we have a lot of people ask about how to have a clean griddle while your food is ready to eat. That's moist, it's hot, it's gonna be able to stay hot for a lot longer than other things will. I'm gonna clean the griddle hopefully in time it takes her to take the right picture, okay? That's my goal. I'm not boasting, I'm just showing you that it can be done in the proper amount of time for you to enjoy your meal while it's hot.
Should we try to set this up right here? Let's do that. This is on the fly, y'all. Besides cleaning everything else up, the griddle itself is done and she's not done taking pictures. It just goes to show you that once you get in a rhythm, once you get in a routine, I try to preach clean as you go. If you notice, everything was moved over to one side. This part was pretty much clean. You get it up, you get it off, and honestly, it's super easy, but it's just about rhythm, about confidence, about knowing how to clean it and clean it as you go. So let's take that picture. Seems like I beat her. I can't take you seriously.
seriously.
Hey, the YouTube people out there, somebody out there says if you put your face in the thumbnails, your videos will get more attention. Alrighty, so it's made. You see the sauce in the bottom. I mean, this is...
What was that?
It's good.
It's like the kids say these days. It slaps.
Hashtag direct hit. We learned all kinds of fun stuff with our daughters. Let's see. Let's talk about the basics. I think it's great, and I'm not a huge Stroganoff fan to begin with, but it's everything I love in food. The filet, the mushrooms, the onions. I understand the sauce. It really has a lot of backbone to it. It's really deep in flavor, which is what I wanted to go for. Upping your stock game is going to help a lot. You can also use a demi-glace if you wanted to really up that power of flavor. Just be careful if you're using standard beef stock. I'm not trying to knock them. I'm just saying you pour it in a cup and it looks like brown water, right? You taste it and you're like, that's it? So, just be cautious about that. Another thing to note is basically you need a tender steak. Regardless of how you get there, get a tender steak. That's going to help you in the long run. And do not overcook those noodles, right? Do not overcook those noodles. You saw how long they're on the griddle. It takes a while. Plus, if you don't cook them all the way, when you put them on the griddle, they still have room to absorb. What are they absorbing? Instead of salt water, now they're absorbing beef stock and beef trimmings, drippings, the onion flavor, the garlic flavor. So that really goes a long ways. You want to taste it? Probably not.
Yep.
I know you're not a fan.
I do. No, I've already had some. It's delicious.
Did you really?
The steak is amazing.
Do I get a trophy for beating you? Griddle cleaning versus picture taking?
Oh, good.
Comfort food, garlic bread, and you don't have to serve it with egg noodles. Although traditional, maybe it's even not traditional, but a lot of people do it with rice, polenta, mashed potatoes, however you guys want to do it. And that's it for me. If you guys are interested, hit that join button down below. It's a membership program. We just do behind the scenes. I'm trying to get caught up on it with everything going on. I've been lacking on it lately, but we're gonna try to get back onto it. Don't forget, a lot of our recipes are on theflattopking.com. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share it with your friends. Chow town. Look at that mushroom right there. That's good mushroom.
That is a good dish, baby.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, it'd be good over your fried polenta cakes.
It's well rounded.
Yeah.